Aloha, welcome to this week's video. I started another Warhammer. Now this one's actually going to be less of a Warhammer and more of a war club. The base design is going to be kind of pulled off of the Native American ball-headed club, and then I'm going to be mixing that with the Fijian Totokia or Totoki, and then I'm also going to be adding a little bit of my own influences and design styles. So the first step here is I'm just making up the club head. I thought it would be kind of cool to do kind of an laminate style club head. So there's multiple layers. These are all coal woods, different grains, different colors. So I have the lightest grain in the center, and then two thin pieces of darker grain that are on the outer edges, and then kind of a middle colored grain on the outside. I think it'll look kind of cool. The first step there was obviously to glue it up. I let it sit for a day and then trimmed it down to the spot where I'd feel comfortable marking on it and getting it ready to start working with it. The joint that I'm going to use is going to be a mortise and tenon joint. Unlike the European style work club that I made recently, I'm not going to have the handle or the haft go all the way through the club. It's only going to inset into the club probably 3/4 of the way. And so I went ahead and marked that out and cut it out on the bandsaw. I do have a little bit of cleanup work on it, but that gets me 90% there on that section of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark in with my marking knife on this side so that I can begin cutting out where that's going to inset into the piece. I'm going to use a drill bit. The funny thing is I didn't plan for this, but the size of the joint ended up being just perfect for a 1-inch spade bit. And so I'm going to be using this spade here to drill out most of the centerpiece and then be cleaning it up with a chisel set. I was a little bit off on my distances as I was moving this across and drilling it out. And so I'd only had enough space to drill out 2 sections, and then I had I had a boring bit that's, I think it was 5/8, it's a little bit smaller, obviously, than a 1-inch, but that enabled me to get this last little section, or the majority of that last little section, and so it left a little bit more that I'd have to clean up with my chisel set, but that's not bad. I was able to clean up pretty much all of it with just those drills. And the chisels that I'm using are a 1-inch and 3/8-inch chisel set. And that's just to clean it up, square it up. I'm going to try to make this a fairly tight fit, although I knew that I'd have a little bit of allowance. So you'll notice on that mortise and tenon joint on the section on the handle, it comes in. And I did that purposefully so that if I had any imperfections as I was cutting this out, it would get hidden on that lip, and that would help make it a lot cleaner of an overlap and a lot cleaner of a connection, and just look better overall. I have it pretty close. It's still a little bit too tight. I was kind of hammering it in just to see if it was going to squeeze in there. It did go in a little bit, but it just wasn't quite the right fit yet. So there's quite a bit of back and forth just to make sure that everything is going to fit nice. What I ended up doing is sanding the joint here down just a little bit, just so that it would slide in a little bit easier. It's still a tight fit, but I wanted to I'm not going all the way through, and so I'm not going to be able to wedge on the other side. And so I do want it to be as good of a fit as I can, so that when I go to glue it, everything just adheres together and it becomes a really solid piece. I have it now pretty much set. The next step that I need to do is just kind of plan out how it's going to be. I started sketching a little bit on the piece. I still have a lot of work to do before I even get to this point, but I wanted to get an idea of what it's going to look like. So it is quite a bit different than a standard Native American ball-headed club, but I think it's going to look pretty cool. I also have an idea for a spike. I've been debating back and forth using a spike, which sometimes you'll see on those ball-headed clubs. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. But so I've been kind of playing with the design for that as well. So I went ahead and filled it with wood glue, and then what you'll see me do here along the edges is I'm going to be mixing in some wood shavings from this piece, and that'll just make it so that the seam gets blended in a little bit better and you see less and less of it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a short video. I wasn't able to get too much done. I had a busy week, but I'll be back in my shop again this week, so hopefully I'll get quite a bit more done. And fingers crossed, I might even be able to finish it by next week, which would be awesome. Well, if you like it, go ahead and leave me a like and subscribe. Comments really help out a lot. I appreciate all of the support, and I'll see you next time. Aloha.